I told you that, for some of you, how you perceive the quality of your sleep is potentially just as important as the number of hours you get? Would you be surprised? I was. But let's put a pin in that for a moment so I can give you some context. Optimal sleep, or a good night's sleep, is important for physical and mental health. And there are certain groups who may be at greater risk of experiencing suboptimal sleep. The research that confirms this has been around for a while now, and most people understand and accept the premise. However, you might be surprised to learn that there is not a definitive understanding of what constitutes optimal sleep. So defining it is complex. It's not a proven absolute that 8 is the magic number of hours required to qualify as optimal sleep, despite what you might have been told. According to the American National Sleep Foundation's duration guidelines, for adults, generally anything between 7 and 9 hours is fine. However, it could be anywhere between 6 to 10 hours, which could also be fine, depending on the individual. What might shock you more is to learn that sleep duration is only one of many indicators of optimal sleep. Other indicators include how long it takes you to get to sleep, how regular your sleep pattern is, and how satisfied you are with your sleep, to name just a few. Given that there are multiple indicators of optimal sleep, which of those indicators are particularly important in protecting health? And do those indicators vary when looking to protect certain groups in the population, such as young adults? These are questions that many health practitioners, researchers, and a lot of everyday people have been asking more and more. And it's the subject of the research that I've been working on at the University of the Sunshine Coast, as part of a team from all over Australia. We wanted to focus on young adults. Existing research has demonstrated that young people are particularly susceptible to experiencing suboptimal sleep for a number of reasons. There tends to be a shift in their circadian rhythm, or the body's internal clock, so that they often both like to sleep and wake up later. Young adults often also have inconsistent work and study schedules. All of these things can impact their sleep. Not to mention the increasing demands of social commitments. You remember your early 20s? Back when getting dressed up and going out was somehow a more attractive and exciting option than a night in, sitting on the couch, in comfortable pants, ordering in food and binge watching a show. And on top of all of that, it's a key developmental phase where we start to develop healthy or, conversely, unhealthy habits that may stick with us as we progress through adulthood. So the goal of our study was to find out as much as we could about what goes on with sleep during these critical years. We wanted to understand the extent to which suboptimal sleep was a problem for young adults, and which indicators were most strongly associated with poor health outcomes. We hoped our findings could then inform the focus of strategic interventions to help young adults improve their sleep, supported by public health education campaigns and health practitioners. Our study examined the sleep of 1,234 young Australian adults aged 22 years, with data collected as part of the RAIN study, which has been tracking health outcomes for decades. It was the first large-scale study to assess the sleep health of young Australian adults using both a questionnaire and an overnight sleep study in a lab. The inclusion of the in-lab analysis was a unique part of our research, because many large-scale studies rely entirely on data gathered via participant self-reporting, which has led to narrower findings. The inclusion of the self-reporting and in-lab measurements made our data more multifaceted and robust. Our study showed that a significant proportion of young adults experience suboptimal sleep. 30% were sleeping less than 6 hours a night. 18% were taking longer than 30 minutes to get to sleep. 60% lacked regular sleep hours. And 1 in 4 weren't satisfied with their sleep. Right now, some of you might be saying, "Hey, me too." I hear you. And yes, it's possible, even probable, that the results of our study, which relate to 22-year-olds, might also apply to other age groups, potentially to greater or lesser extents. But for now, we're focusing on young adults. The total amount of time slept, or sleep duration, assessed via the controlled, though very comfortable and snooze-friendly lab, was associated with the participants' general mental health. This finding supports the existing evidence base regarding the link between sleep duration and health. However, what was new, and to some extent unexpected, was that 2 other indicators were more strongly associated with physical and mental health outcomes: how satisfied the young adults were with the sleep they were getting, and how alert they felt during the day. This was a powerful and significant finding. It indicates that sleep satisfaction and daytime alertness are essential aspects of sleep health for young adults. It also suggests, for example, that if we can change how satisfied young adults are with their sleep, we might be able to impact their health, both now and into the future. To assess satisfaction, we asked young adults to rate the quality of their sleep on a scale ranging from very good to very bad. In answering this question, they would have likely had to consider what a good or normal night's sleep looks like. In our society, a good night's sleep is often depicted as 8 hours with no awakenings, and when a person wakes up immediately feeling refreshed. That's a big ask, and not at all based on the reality of what sleep tends to look like. This is incredibly important, because if you don't know any better, and you're someone who believes that the traditional 8 hours of uninterrupted sleep is the goal, and you haven't achieved it, you might assume you've had a terrible night of sleep. And where does that leave you? Probably likely to assess your sleep as bad, or to be dissatisfied with your sleep. We believe that future research will confirm that perceptions about what constitutes good or normal sleep is a key factor related to sleep satisfaction. And this will enable us to actively target this issue in education interventions. Our study has highlighted the importance of high sleep satisfaction and daytime alertness in protecting the health of young adults. Improving sleep among young adults wouldn't only be good for the individual. There is significant evidence of the benefits of optimal sleep to a person's social relationships and productivity in the workplace. This enhanced performance and productivity is good for the individual, the health system, and taxpayers. So what now? What are the next steps we need to take to realise the potential benefits this research has showed us are possible? We need to start by acknowledging this is a public health issue. And we need a coordinated and multi-pronged public health strategy, including powerful campaigns like those designed to get the general public to stop smoking, practice sun safety, get immunised and practice safe sex, to name just a few. As part of this, we may need to educate the public about what constitutes good sleep, because the benefits of doing so are significant to everyone. And we need to train and support our healthcare practitioners to ask their clients a few simple questions to screen broadly for sleep that could have impacts on their health. A few simple questions about daytime alertness and sleep satisfaction might be a good place to start for young adults. And we need to act now, because every day young adults are locking in sleep habits that could stick with them for the rest of their lives. We all know sleep is incredibly important for health. But what we now also know is that how you perceive the quality of your sleep and how alert you feel during the day are potentially just as important as the number of hours you get each night. So next time someone asks you, how did you sleep? Remember, how you assess your sleep is important. And just because you didn't get 8 hours doesn't mean you slept poorly.